How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today is May the 4th, as in Star Wars Day. So I would be completely idiotic if I did not make a video pertaining to Star Wars, because Star Wars is one of my all-time favorite things ever, so it just makes sense. And I'm also a prehistory channel, so we're just going to be combining the two, and in this video, we will be taking a look at 3 different prehistoric creatures that have made an appearance in Star Wars. Now, sometimes when it comes to making alien creatures, some inspiration is taken from, modern-day animals, and sometimes it's taken from animals of the past, which absolutely makes sense because a lot of the animals of the past did have a very alien-like appearance to them, so they certainly do fit in the universe of Star Wars. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's look at 3 of my favorites. We'll start off with the Mandalorian, where we get this handsome fellow right here, known as the Mudhorn. I'm sure that many of you already know which animal this is very reminiscent of, and that is, of course, the Elasmotherium. The Mudhorn here definitely does remind me of very early depictions of Elasmotherium that portrays it with an absolutely massive horn that is in the center of its forehead. Of course, the Mudhorn has its horn situated more so on the nose, much like modern-day rhinos, but it still very much has that look to it. It also has some woolly fur, but it definitely has like a lot more jagged teeth and just a lot more of an alien appearance to it. It's native to the planet of Arvala 7, and even though it has a mammalian appearance to it, it lays eggs. Well, it lays 1 egg per batch, according to Wikipedia. It's pretty much like a monotreme rhinoceros. And what's really strange is that the egg that they lay also has like a woolly appearance to it. Of course, when we see it, Din Djarin is tasked to go and capture said egg because the Jawas apparently think that it's a delicacy. And he does this in order to get the scraps back from his ship that were taken by the Jawas. Very cool scene. It absolutely demolishes Din Djarin in a very fun scene. It's called a Mudhorn because it likes to live in like a muddy cave. And it's a very cool design. It certainly does have that whole Elasmotherium-like appearance. I'm not sure if it was inspired by the Elasmotherium. I think it's likely because look at it. I mean, it even has like the kind of hump that Elasmotherium had in life right at the shoulders. So the CGI on it is fantastic, and so far we have a fantastic start. Next comes from Tales of the Jedi, where in the first episode we get an origin story to one of my favorite characters, Ahsoka Tano. We get a little bit more of an in-depth look of her home world of Shrila. Yeah, I have no idea why I called it that. The planet is known as Sheely, and the wilderness surrounding it, and one of the top predators in the forests, which is the Rakshir. The Rakshir obviously has some inspiration taken from the Smilodon that used to roam the earth, with those saber teeth just front and center. In fact, according to Wikipedia, they're even called Sabertooth in universe, so it all checks out. They're of course scaled up compared to what Saberteeth were like in life. In fact, it's a lot more reminiscent to the 10,000 BC Smilodon, which, man, look how similar those shots are. But it has an absolutely amazing design. I loved this episode. I loved this whole show, and I loved its whole design. It's incredible to see how much the Clone Wars style has changed over time to the point where we get creatures that look like this. Now, it has the very cat-like appearance, but with colors that are a lot more greenish yellow, lightish green, something like that, with some dark stripes all over the place, and of course those saber teeth. Now, it's likely that in universe it would use those saber teeth in a similar fashion to how Smilodons of the past used to. And I'd say that it's likely that they would hunt these Kaibucks right here, which, by the way, we've actually seen Kaibucks before in the Star Wars universe. Yoda was riding one in the 2003 Clone Wars. Cool stuff. But the Rakshir is also the kind of the catalyst that reveals to everybody that Ahsoka is Force sensitive. She's able to connect to it through the Force in what was like a survival instinct type thing, and she rides it back, which is a very fun seeing all around. But yeah, that is the Rakshir, the second one on our list, and one of the most awesome. Now we've looked at 2 alien creatures that are not sentient. Now we are going to look at a sentient creature, which is Coleman Treor. He is a species known as a Verk. We also see the same species in Revenge of the Sith, if I remember correctly, as someone who's kind of tailing Chancellor Palpatine. Now, his homeworld is the planet known as Sembla, and I forgot to drop the comparison. I'm sure that many of you can tell what this guy looks like. a Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus was a hadrosaurid dinosaur that had this really cool crest, and the cool thing about this crest is that it was actually hollow and connected to the nasal cavity right here. This seems to indicate that Parasaurolophus would use this to amplify its noises, something that was actually replicated in a study where they kind of made a makeshift Parasaurolophus crest system, blew air through it, and they got this sound. So really, Parasaurolophus is one of the only dinosaurs that we have actually a good idea of what it sounded like. Anyway, Coleman Treor does not honk at Count Dooku and Jango Fett. Coleman Treor tried to take on Count Dooku, but was unfortunately gunned down by Jango Fett. Very sad times indeed. But he has this really kind of like dark green coloration, grayish green type coloration with that really cool crest. The hands are really crazy, and fitting with his skin tone, he has a green lightsaber. He was also a member of the Jedi High Council, which means that he was, pretty high up there, and was unfortunately, again, one of the first casualties of the Clone Wars. One of the first Jedi casualties, anyway. Now, these are just 3 of my favorites. There are way more creatures in Star Wars that have obviously taken some inspiration from the awesome dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures that once roamed this earth. But unfortunately, I am on a time crunch right now. I have a lot of other things that I'm currently working on, mainly with work and just other outside stuff with the museum and all that good stuff. So, I'm having to kind of condense some of these videos because I would love to go into way more prehistoric creatures that have shown up in Star Wars. Unfortunately, though, this is really the best I can do, so I just kind of picked my 3 favorites. Now, this is definitely a little bit different to my regular content on this channel, but I tried to kind of mix it in with my prehistory style content. I love other things other than dinosaurs, so I'd love to incorporate some of that stuff into the channel if it ever found the place, I guess. Just let me know if you like this type of content, because again, I'd like to do more of it. But yeah, may the 4th be with you, and that's pretty much all I have for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have an awesome day.